Hip Hop since 1987. We live in Atlanta right now in front of Tricky Studios, and I have the pleasure of being with Mr. Tricky Montgomery and Dada. We out here rocking Dada Mills. We out here rocking, got a lot of big things going on, coming straight from the Trigger the Kid listening party. We want to thank y'all for inviting us out. Thank y'all for having us in this wonderful establishment. For a lot of people who may not know, you gentlemen are doing a lot of big things in the music business. You, sir, are responsible for putting together a lot of producers and songwriters who have done songs from Mariah Carey, Beyonce, Jamie Foxx. Can you brothers give us a little insight on what it takes to be successful in the music business today?
Yeah, I mean, to be successful today, you gotta have drive and focus. Like, it's a marathon, not a sprint. A lot of cats, because you can pop off a little bit quicker now with all the online and internet stuff, people think that it's like a sprint, but really the people that are successful, it's been a marathon. Like, they've been putting in work for a lot longer than what you might know. So that's key, and the focus of just knowing that, you know, you gotta stay true to whatever the original vision was. If it's a vision that works, stay true to that vision and stay true to the team that believes in that vision, because that's real key right there. Like, teamwork makes the dream work, you know what I mean?
I also know you gentlemen are doing a lot of work overseas. You yourself are working with an international artist right now, a Jewish gentleman. Can you elaborate and tell us a little bit what's going on with this brother?
Oh, Danny Seth? Yeah, he the truth, man. He's about to be the next. Like, you got a tag that he uses on before his records called The British Are Coming, and that's exactly what it is. So he's kind of like, it's kind of weird because he kind of got like that U.S. swag with British style, and he has the accent which makes him sound cool, but I think Americans are going to be able to gravitate to him because of the fact that he actually, you know, you can hear him when he raps. You can understand what he's saying. It's very legible. So, you know, yeah. So he's got almost 300,000, about 300,000 streams on his SoundCloud. So we haven't even released any videos. We normally, in documented cases, we normally don't pick up on a new act, you know, at the point where he's at. But he was so special that we had to, because, you know, we got, you know, some pretty big acts.
Elaborate and let us know about some of these big acts that you guys have been working with.
Black Eyed Peas, Fergie as a solo artist, Sean Paul, the Veronicas, this big group out of Australia, Prince Royce, who's like one of the biggest artists right now in the Latin world. He's doing a crossover album, so he just sold out like Nokia in LA, and he's doing a bunch of big things. So he's a big priority right now too, Prince Royce. And then we have like producers and songwriters. We have a producer and songwriter. So we got like Toby Cat that wrote If I Were a Boy, Beyonce, and Big Girls Don't Cry, Fergie, and a bunch of other things. We got new artists coming out named B Major, who got a song that's huge on the internet right now. One of the biggest songs in the news, you know, from a new artist on the internet. A song called Loud. It's featuring Justin Bieber and Juicy J. Justin Bieber's actually rapping on it, so it's crazy.
Okay. Yeah, that's crazy. That's some exclusive information right there. If I was a producer or a songwriter looking to get into the music business today, what advice would you give me? You gentlemen both are working with a lot of cats that we just mentioned, international acts. American hip hop is kind of changing. You get into a lot of the dubstep and electro tunes, and a lot of people are starting to take their music internationally. What advice could you give me as a young songwriter or producer trying to make it in today's music world?
Like, I would just basically say, like, first you gotta just be hot. Like, a lot of the cats, here's the problem now as a songwriter, just be real with you. The songwriting aspect has gotten so popular that everybody's grabbing songwriters and working with songwriters. And a lot of these songwriters are just really average. You know what I'm saying? So what happens is you get some average songwriters and you throw a hot little name on them like Ink Spots or something like that, and they're running around working and they're putting average work out there. But the really great songwriters, like, they really hone their craft and they bring something special to the game, and they do records that you can hear years down the road. Like, one of my writers, Christina, wrote Love All Over Me for Monica. Like, that's a record that 5-10 years from now, when it comes on the radio, you get it. You know what I'm saying? And some of these records are just like average, you know what I'm saying, average writing. And those average writers need to kind of like either move out the way or really hone their craft and study the game, study the Lionel Richies and the baby faces and stuff like that, and see what they brought to the game in that era and try to do their part in this era.
I can definitely respect that. What advantages do you think songwriters have today? You know, with the 360 deals and things like that going to artists and whatnot. A lot of songwriters are staying out of the limelight. So what advantages do you think they have in the music business to get their money, get their fame, and then get out of the game?
Well, I mean, like if it's something that you love, you don't really want to be getting out the game. You just want to be able to control how you work in the game. But the advantages that they have nowadays is that we come to an era where, you know, where labels don't really buy tracks like they used to. They may buy a few, but now they want a full song. They want to be able to hear the whole picture. An artist walks in the building, unless they're a person that quote unquote writes, they come in expecting to hear the whole picture. Like, okay, this track, okay, what's the melody? Oh, that hook is crazy. All right, I'm ready to lay that. Whereas there was a time when it was just like, you know what I mean, producers would sell tracks and that would be that, and then you start from there. But now, even with rappers, a lot of times, a lot of the rappers want to have a hook on a record already before they even lay something on it, because that's going to make the record and move the record. So songwriters have the advantage of having more juice, you know what I'm saying? Because they become that much more valuable. People pay attention more to the lyrics than, like, we bob to the beat, but we recite the lyrics. So it's kind of like, you know what I mean, it has more weight nowadays.
You gave mention a while ago to not paying attention to artists or noticing artists who they reach a certain plateau. What are the standards that you normally look for an artist? Is it how many followers they have, how many views they have on YouTube, how many shows they may have done domestic or abroad? What exactly is the criteria you guys look for before you begin to look for artists and talent?
Well, there's two things. Number one, I have a company called The Alliance, and it's a production company. So we develop artists, and I started in the game 15 years ago, over 15 years ago when my first deal with a major as a manager with Tommy Boy Records, and I was a pop artist. And I've always been developing producers, you know, writers, artists. That's what I've been doing for a long time, killing my own food and eating. And now, you know, it's just I got more into the executive world, you know, recently, doing, like, as far as the corporate executive world, recently, you know, taking an A&R position at a major label, and, you know, now as a partner over at DOS. So now the way DOS works is DOS normally only sees you at a certain level, you know? Like the Black Eyed Peas, I think they made like $160 million in 1 year. Like, so that's what they see. You know, we see other things too, but that's really where their minds are at. DOS has been around for like 35 years. Coming out with artists like Meatloaf, Fugees, John Legend, you know, Lauren and Wyclef are solo artists, Kesha, a bunch of other people. So, like, and from that standpoint, I came into the company so I can be more, the company can be more well-rounded, because I knew about the things that were happening on the ground level before they see it. So just because you can't see it doesn't mean that it doesn't have that potential earning value.
That's very real.
So my thing is, no, the reason why we got Danny is because I saw that in him, and I brought him up to the point where it's like, okay, cool, like, understand that this is what's about to be the next thing, and because of my co-signer, because of the way that I was able to articulate it to the other partners, then they be like, you know what, we'll embrace this, you know? So no, it's, but normally the bigger management companies will look at you, and the thing is that it's everything. It's not one thing. See, back in the day, you used to be able to, because I come from the era of mixtapes and CDs and pounding the streets, and then fake BDS scans, and you know radio scans, like all of that. You know what I'm saying? And so before, when you used to be able to get your record a few certain spins that come up on Nielsen Sound Scan, you used to be able to play this game where, oh dang, he sold this many records. You know, okay, cool. You know, we're gonna pick him up. He got a movement. The mixtape's doing well. Everybody talking about in the streets. And then when the digital era started getting bigger, and it was easier ways to be able to monitor what exactly was happening, where these records were being sold, it was harder to do these type of scams. So then what it became was, you know, what's your movement like? You know what I'm saying? Where's your value on the internet and your social media value? Like, where's that at? So now they look at what's going on Twitter. They look at what's going on YouTube. They look at what's going on the radio. They look at what's going on with sales. They look at everything now. It's not just one thing, and that's why it's harder now for an artist to get a deal than it was before. Because before, you get a few radio spins or you get a few sales, you're getting your deal. Nowadays, it's like, yo, if you're hot, then your YouTube, page should tell us that. You know what I'm saying? If you're hot, you know. And sometimes I tell artists, sometimes like they try to go the organic way, and that's cool if you can do it. If your buzz is really that in the street, if you got that kind of team, then cool. But if you can't do that, then it's best for you to just use what it is that you have, that's the strongest asset that you have. And sometimes it might be a talent. So maybe maybe you might be a kind of artist that needs to invest in actually getting a songwriter like a Toby Gad, or a producer like Hard Work, or a writer like Cristal to come in and write you a hit, as opposed to you going out there, trying to play that game like it is what it isn't. So what I think you should do, what an artist should do to get recognized, whether that be by a management company, whether that be by a powerful attorney, whether that be by a powerful booking agency or label, is to identify what it is that about you that's your strongest asset, and shine that as bright as possible, whatever that might be. So if you invest your money, it should be into what your strongest asset is, and then you'll be recognized. And if you don't get recognized, then maybe you shouldn't.
It's man El Dorado. We're live at ATL right now. Once again with Mr. Dada Mills, Mr. Tricky Montgomery. I want to thank you, gentlemen, for giving us the time out of your busy schedules. Before we get out of here and wrap this up, is there anything else that you guys would like to let us know, like to let the camera know? Anything you're working on? Anything we can look forward to in the future?
I mean, I would just say stay true to who you are, it's a marathon. This business is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Don't be one of them cats that's here today and going tomorrow. Things that I'm working on is most of my writers are singer-songwriters that are artists. So I got Krista Nicole just put out a single called Sundown. It's kind of crazy right now. One of my producers, M16, had the I Do record out on Jay-Z, Jeezy, and Andre 3000. And Drake hopped on the remix. Working tracks on different people like that. Kalina from Dirty Money, one of my artists, she's in the studio doing her thing, writing for other people, and just, a handful of things. I got a kid out by the name of Middle Star that has a single called Incomplete. So radio's really embracing it, so it's working, man.
No, big. How about yourself, Mr. Blue?
I mean, one thing I'd have to say is just, tell the artists that are out there, the producers, the songwriters, the future execs of tomorrow, to not get caught up in the hype of what people are saying. Look into things for yourself. Figure out what's real based on your own, assessment of things, and not, he say, she say. And study the business. I'm noticing there's a lot of artists, and there's a lot of writers, and a lot of producers and executives out there that really don't know the business. They don't know how things originated. They're in the hip hop industry and want to deal, but doesn't even really know what that means. So it's like in any other business, if you were to dive into, to anything from investment banking, or you were to start anything, man, like a cookie company, or a pizza shop, you would do some research on, how things get done and how you get paid and all these things. And I think people are always just looking at, how do I get on? And what is on? And if you ask them, what they want, it's a very limited few that actually even know what they want, or have the, their understanding of how to get there. So it's like, regardless whether you want to go to like the store, even though it might seem simple to you because you know how to go to the store, it's like I know how to get a deal. You know what I'm saying? What it is you list out the tools that you need to be able to make that trip to the store. You say, okay, you have, you need a car, you need gas to get there, you need to know what you want to buy. So if it's a bag of chips, you know how much it's going to cost, about how you get it, and you've mapped out in your hand, even subliminally, how you make this trip and how you go about achieving what it is that you need to achieve and getting back, right? So I think a lot of artists don't look at it like that, and that's how you got to look at it. You got to look at it like what am I doing? What are my tools, and what am I really trying to obtain? And you need to have a plan on how to get there and how to get back in an efficient way. And I think that people don't look at it. It's the same thing. It's the same thing no matter if you're trying to go get a loan from, no matter what you're trying to do. That's what you have. That's a mindset you have to have. And I want to see more artists think like that, as opposed to just looking at the bigger picture. What is it that, as far as the DOS is concerned and the Alliance is concerned, look out for Coco Kiss. She's a big artist out here in Atlanta. She dropped a record called Onion Booty. Everybody was feeling. She's doing, features with Gucci Mane. She just did a new joint with Gucci Mane, Baka Flocka, Roscoe, Dash, Future, everybody. Got for her Coco Kiss. Danny Seth. He puts the A in the Danny is actually upside down if you look at him on YouTube. So Danny Seth, upside down, A is a V. So Danny Seth, Jitta, who's this artist out of Connecticut, who won the competition and go on tour with Drake for 30 dates, doing really good. You should check him out. That's Jitta, and he got a song out called I Think I'm Diddy. That's crazy right now on the internet. And then Sean Paul's about to come with a new single, so look out for his. you know, and like
Yeah,
I said,
hopefully my writer's on that album.
she is.
I know.
You know, and I want to see more of this. Like, you know how he's saying, like, hopefully my writer's on the album. Like, I want to see more people in the industry actually working together, because the industry's smaller, the money's a little bit less. Even though there's a lot of money out there, it's less than it was before. And you know, I want to see more executives coming together and making plays together, as opposed to trying to figure out how to make plays or keep plays away from each other. And that's it. And I want to see. I mean, I didn't get in the music industry to be rich. You know what I'm saying? When I got in the music industry, I didn't know how much money Russ was making.
And I got pop culture too.
Like,
My rapper, new single coming out.
so
Check for him.
So like,
Hopefully he spit some bars for y'all while y'all was here.
Oh yeah, pop is dope. But yeah, that's all. I want to see that though. Like, for all the cats that's out there, like, I want to see more of y'all doing this for the love of doing it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing this for a check, and I ain't doing it for you know, to be famous, and I ain't doing it to be rich. That's not why I got into it. You know what I'm saying? I want to see more people who actually want to be in this and are passionate about doing this, because that makes a difference of whether you get up in the morning and do what you're supposed to do, or you don't, or if you do it half-assed. So, yeah.
Where can we follow you gentlemen on Twitter?
I'm at Tricky Bizness. Tricky, Tricky, Business, Bizness.
I'm at Dada Worldwide. That's Dada Worldwide.
It's your man El Dorado, hip hop since 1987. We live in ATL. Shout out to my man Rick Dane.
Yo, and I love the site. Real shit. Keep doing what y'all doing.
Shout my hip hop since 1987, niggas. Hip hop since 1987.com.